All right, welcome to another edition. So there's going to be a big change. I want to make some announcements. So before we get too deep in today's episode, and if you've been listening in since the first one, you'll notice something a little bit different. We've decided to make a name change to this podcast. Originally, we were The Flight Plan with Rick Raanes. This was a show going to talk about the multiple phases that real estate agents go through during the course of their career. And now I want this to, instead being the flight plan, I want this to be the real estate roadmap with Rick Raanes. And here's the part of the reason. I've been known as the rock star for over 20 years. It started with Prudential. Throughout all my career, I've been the rock star. And even though I know I don't play any kind of musical instrument, my whole goal behind all this stuff was to basically know that I wasn't a mediocre agent, that I always wanted to be a rock star agent. I wanted to over-deliver, deliver some excitement, deliver a lot of fun, create the experience for the consumer that was something that they would never forget, that their home buying and home selling experience was truly unforgettable. And so it felt like this was really more important for me to run through this as a rock star realtor instead of trying to come up with some new way to share the features and benefits of being a real estate agent. So what I've learned in my 22 years is never force something, never try to do something that feels uncomfortable, and I just couldn't quite get into that mode. And the flight plan had a lot of meaning behind it. It just didn't really deliver for me. So in the world of real estate and life, I want to be the rock star, and I want to be able to share my rock star stories. I want to be able to share the things that we did really, really well and the things that we may have messed up on. So anyway, same commitment to a weekly podcast. We're just going to change this up a little bit and get into it here. So, a little bit about this particular episode. In the world of real estate and the rockstar business, there is a pre-show ritual, and there's something that we all need to do before we really get into this business, is that we want to make sure that we're locked and loaded and we're ready to deliver to the client. In music they call it a sound check, so that you know that you're ready. And today I want to kind of continue that process of a sound check. I want to walk through the 6 phases of the real estate business, and I also want to walk through a particular thing called 6 questions. 6 questions that top producers that I know ask themselves regularly that most real estate agents never think to ask. So today we're going to talk about 2 questions from my personal life that you should answer for yours. 3 are going to come from my business, and 1's about my health, and I want to answer each one myself. I haven't written anything down. This is all just going to come from the heart, and I want you to answer them alongside me. So grab a notebook if you can, re-listen to the podcast, and we're going to really take a deep dive. So 2 weeks ago, I wanted I wanted the AI to learn more about me so that I could be a better real estate agent for my clients. What type of personality did I have, all the things that I was going on, who was going to be the best person that I could present myself to. Just like a musician would do, they write music, they have a specific audience they think, depending upon the genre of their music, and they want to deliver a high quality product. So I asked Chat to get to know me, and I wanted to take a deep dive into all of this. So I went to Prompt Cowboy, and I told Prompt Cowboy, which is a wonderful tool if you haven't used it, I went to Prompt Cowboy and I said, I want to ask ChatGPT to ask me 50 questions related to personal, business, and health. That I didn't want it to be fluff questions. I wanted to really take a really hard process in helping me define my personal life, help define my business life, and what I wanted to do for my health, and how those 3 could help me build my business over the next several years. Prompt Cowboy spit out a really cool prompt. I put it into ChatGPT, and it spit out 50 questions. And so over the course of the next 3 hours, I took a really hard line at it, and I answered all 50 questions as truthfully and as honestly as I could. And it was a lot of self-awareness, and it was really a great thing to do. I was answering questions ChatGPT continued to fire redirect questions back to me. We spent a ton of time getting to know me. Chat now understands the direction I want to head in for my business. It knows the goals I have for my personal life, the relationships that I'm cultivating, why that's important to me, why business is important to me, and now my health. In my 60s, I have totally wasted 40 plus years of adulthood in an unhealthy lifestyle. Not that it's been bad, but now that I'm in my 60s, I know that it's something I need to focus on. So I know I can't go over all 50 questions today. However, I did want to pick out 6 really solid questions, and these are I'm not reflecting on notes, so I might say something in here that might be a little bit different than the original question, or I might embellish or whatever, but I wanted to kind of go through these 6 different questions as truthfully and honestly as I can with you guys. So, all right, the first one's a personal question, and it is, what is the single best decision you've made in your personal life that made you a better agent? And how did you make more decisions like it? Well, I don't know that if I had any single best decisions throughout the course of my life. However, I will say that the one thing that I felt was great about my real estate career was my time being a home remodeler or a general contractor, if you will. I did a ton of kitchens and bathrooms before I got into real estate, and that helped me as a real estate agent. When I was with a client, if I was with a home seller, we could walk through things that they needed to do to prepare their property for sale. And if I was working with a buyer and we were looking at a property, I could walk them through cost efficiencies on if they did buy the home and they wanted to make some upgrades, what that could potentially cost them. Now, having been a home remodeler, interior, exterior, we did patios, landscaping decks, covered patios, fencing work, just about anything related to the home remodeling I was involved in. Total kitchen guts, total kitchen replacements, total bathroom replacements, flooring. I can't tell you how many square feet of tile I've laid in my career, but that was super helpful prior to getting into real estate. That helped me become a better agent. I knew that I could deliver a higher level of service to my clients because of being able to really reflect on the actual amount of money that they needed to come up with. And because I knew how to do it, I also was able to help them with some of their things. So I'd spend some hours if I needed to, just tidying up a few things or making some small adjustments to their house. So that was probably one of the best things that happened for me, and it stuck with me through the course of my real estate career. As I still keep up with values and home flips and home values, what the costs are for all of that. So I think there's a lot of great things that we have done in our past that will help us become better real estate agents and how we want to represent our clients. So kind of going forward, I want to continue to use that as a tool for the wealth building side of real estate for my clients, and also knowing that when they're hiring somebody to do specific types of things, that I have a vendor network of subcontractors that I've worked with that I can recommend to them for their particular jobs that they're looking to do. So that's the one thing from a decision side. The second question, which is a personal question, if the version of me from 10 years ago could see what I've built today, what would make them the most proud? And I would say that 10 years ago, I was a successful developer of a team in the Woodlands, working with Keller Williams at the time. We started building out our team, and I would say that the best thing that 10-year-old guy from 2016, 2017 would see today is that I've taken all of those years of experience, and my goal is to continue to give back. And I think that person would be very proud of me today because of the things that I was able to do as an individual agent, growing leverage with the assistants that I've had through the years that have been wonderful assistants. I've had a couple of them that didn't work out. However, I've had some great agents that have partnered with me through the years, some fantastic buyer's agents that have gone on to be super successful, some listing agents that have gone on to be super successful. And I feel like that individual from 2016 would look at a 2026 Rick Raanes and say, I'm really happy that you are continuing to focus on personal development, but that you're also giving back. And I think that's something that we should all do, whether it's becoming a mentor, becoming a coach, or a office manager, whatever that may be. But whatever you learn, and you learn it and do it really, really well, make sure you're giving that wealth of information to somebody that may want to learn exactly how you've done it, share the wins, the losses, and really kind of give them a better streamline to what they want to do for the development of their business. So question 3 is, what does your business do better than anyone else in your market? And are you leading with that in everything that you do? Oh my goodness. I would say that the things that I do really, really well in this business have been involving the negotiations. Being able to share and identify values at a really nice level. I feel like I can assist sellers determining what good sales prices should be for their home. I feel like my ability to be genuine and actually sit down with somebody, asking right questions, really creating comfort from where they are in the process, letting them know that my goal as a RockStar agent is to limit their involvement, is for them to sit back and enjoy the show. They don't have to be so detailed or so involved in the process, because that's my job. My job is to put their transaction in really good hands, whether it's home inspectors from the buyer side, whether that's contractors on home preparations for listings, and really creating the right atmosphere for the transaction process. And I feel like we do that in a really seamless manner. I know there's others that do it really, really well too, but my goal is to let the client just relax and enjoy the show. And at the end of the day, we want to, for a long time, my goal has been to create wealth while my clients sleep. And if I can do that at a higher level, it means I can prepare a property for sale, make sure that we're getting the top dollar for it. And then if I'm representing buyers, I know the things that we can do to negotiate a better purchase price so that they can either identify the things that they need, whether that's closing cost money, or if that's something that they may want to have in a reduction of their interest rates, or whatever they need. I want to put the deal together. And that's where I feel like we do a really good job of that. Number 4, what would your 5 best clients say about working with you and that you'd be too humble to say about yourself? I would say that the clients that I've enjoyed working with the most have all allowed me to excel at the transaction process. I enjoy contracts. I enjoy the task list of the process. If it's preparing a home for the market, there's a certain process I want to share with our clients so that they know how to prepare the property. Getting great photos, great marketing. I want to know that I want my clients to know that I'm there for them always. I would say that the one thing that my clients wished I did better, and I know that I've worked really hard at this for 20 plus years, is letting them know what I've done. I always just go get it done, and I just think that it's complete. But I still today struggle with here's what I've accomplished. And even some of my real estate coaches have said that too, is that, Rick, just write it down and email it. And that's really difficult for me. But my clients would say is that I accomplished more than they thought, that I exceeded their expectations, and that they were really happy with the opportunity to work with me or with somebody that was on my team at the time. And I think that they would say that they enjoyed the process, and that our procedures were really, really good. Number 5, what does your business look like what will your business look like in 3 years if I make the right decision starting today? Well, I know what I want my business to look like in 3 years. I would say that the last 3 years have been extremely challenging for me, and in a lot of different reasons based on some of the decisions that we've made. The market's been slower. Then last year was probably the toughest year for a huge percentage of real estate agents. There were fewer properties sold in 2025 than there were in 1999. There are more real estate agents in the business today than there were in 1999. So that amount of revenue is really kind of spread out based on the number of properties sold. Now, there's a huge difference between the value of a home in 1999 and a value in 2025. So there is more money being paid out, but the number of units were vastly lower per agent. My goal today is getting back into real estate coaching. I want to support agents in the development of their business. I want to share all the things that I'm doing on a day-to-day business to kickstart my business all over again. I feel like I'm in that mode where I've, those old entertainers that have had some really great albums in the past, and now all of a sudden they're just kind of on this tour, just kind of resharing their music with other people, and mostly their older fans. And that's kind of where I'm at right now. I had a really great run of years where we sold a lot of properties, and I kind of let that kind of get away from me. And last year, truthfully, I had 8 properties that we had got under contract and sold. And so I want my business to get back to where it was in those 10 years or so. So number one, I've gotten back into coaching. I've hired some coaches, which will allow me to also sharpen my pencil and get back into the give back game, instead of just dealing with my former clients or the former people that bought records or whatever that looks like, some of the older fans. I want to continue to magnify that. I want to continue to deliver the message that says, I am a great real estate agent. I negotiate at a really high level. I want to take the task of selling your property or purchasing a property, the stress away from my client. I want to absorb all of that stress and do it in a way that allows my client to enjoy the process. And in the next 3 years, my daughter will have graduated from high school. She'll be in college, and I want to be able to really dive into her young adulthood life. I want her to know that today, as always, I've always been there for her, but I want her to know that all the things that I'm doing today are so that I can spend more time with her when she goes into her post-college lifestyle in life. So that's what I hope that my business looks like based on some of the decisions that were today. Number one is coaching, and number two is just really getting back into the personal sales of real estate. So number 6 is health. What one health habit has made the biggest difference in your energy and performance, and how do you protect it? I would say that 13 years ago, when I was diagnosed with melanoma in my eye, I worked really hard to develop a consistent business. And that work habit created a lot of particular challenges in life. I was putting work as a priority, didn't know how long I would even live. I'm very fortunate that I made that 10-year mark in 2023, and so I'm cancer-free today. However, in today's world, in my 60s, and I mentioned this earlier about having to make some changes, is I really want to focus on a better diet. I don't eat as many cheeseburgers. I don't go to McDonald's as nearly as much as I did. I'm really working on cutting out the fast food deal. I would say the last several years we've put more energy in cooking at home, cooking better at home, eating better meals, whether it's for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, not just going out and just grabbing things and sucking crazy stuff down. I've cut out the majority of my Oreos. I still eat a lot of chocolate chip cookies. I don't eat nearly as much ice cream, and I really focus on 3 squares. And I would say that just cooking and eating healthier meals has given me an extensive amount of energy. And over the last several weeks, part of my goals for this year is I would like to walk 1,000 miles, but my focus is how do I walk more and more and more every day. I've had more intentional walks, starting off with 1 mile. Just finished a mile walk just a little while ago around the work center, and I'm really looking forward to that, to getting deeper into it, walking the dog, walking with Jen, and having that time where we can just kind of wind down the day or whatever that looks like. But 3 miles a day is 1,000 miles a year, and I want to work towards getting to where I'm comfortable walking 3 miles a day. I've never walked. I've never worked out. This is all brand new to me, and I just feel like that's probably the things that I need to do to continue to make my life a little bit easier. So So here's one of the things I want to remind you. If you would like to dig deep into kind of getting a sound check of your life and what you would think the questions, and you're worried about how to let I don't know why I keep saying social media, but how do we let artificial intelligence learn more about us so that we can be more productive, just comment below in this deal that just hit prompt, and I'll make sure that I can get you the link that will share the prompt that you can ask ChatGPT or Gemini or Claude or whatever AI program you're using on the questions that they could develop so that they can get to know you a lot better. So this is your challenge this week. Send me that prompt. I want to send you this link and you can fill that out. And I also want you to pick out one question from today that really kind of hit closest to home, that you really feel like you can answer, and I want you to put it in writing. And if you'd like, share it with me. You can send it to me at rickraanesrealtor@gmail.com. It could be any one of those 6, or if you've got something else that you want to share with me. I've got 22 years of experience doing this. It will be a one-on-one conversation. I promise you it's not anything that I would share publicly. I would share with any other agent. I would share this directly with you, and with ultimate confidence that is truly a one-on-one conversation and a confidential conversation. I may email you back, but if you'd like to schedule some time with me, my calendar is super easy to get a hold of. It's lptchat.com. You can go in and schedule 30 minutes and we can have that conversation. But the prompt will give you 50, and I promise you it is a therapeutic way to get things off your chest, some things that you would probably say to artificial intelligence that you wouldn't say to somebody else because of some kind of fear or ego or whatever it may be. There's a lot of anxiety that comes to that, but there's also some relief in knowing that it's out there. So that you're dealing with something that's nothing. AI does not judge. It just kind of tells you something, and it's pretty accurate on the things that it can do. So anyway, I just want you to know that the best agents that I know are asking themselves these questions, and they're asking them all the time. They're always seeking to be better, and they dive deeper into the things that they're doing, and their success is not an accident, and that's how they stay at the top of their game, and this is how I want you to stay at the top of your game. And so let's stay in touch. I'll get this one out. We got more coming in the next several weeks. All I'm going to be doing is talking about lots of memories and lots of mayhem through the roadmap of real estate agents. And I'd love for you to give me a thumbs up, tell me that you like it, connect with me in any way that you can. I'm all over the place. The great thing about my last name is there's not a lot of us out there. So when you search Rick Raanes on social media, it's going to automatically pop up most of my stuff. And then I'd love for you to follow with what we're doing, because we're going to have a lot of fun. Real quick, before we wrap up, I do want to remind you that how we're kind of rebanding this roadmap is within I'll call it the 6 stages of a real estate agent. Number 1, stage 1 is kind of like you've got your license, you're trying to figure out what to do. The crowd doesn't even know you yet. You've got to create your music, you've got to create your game plan, you've got to get out there and let people know who you are. So stage 1 is what we're going to call before the spotlight. Stage 2 is what we're going to call the first set. This is where you get stuck. This is where most agents get into trouble because they can't get in front of crowds. They've got writer's block where they can't write good music. They can't write good content for social media. They have no idea how to go out and farm neighborhoods. They just don't know what they don't know. And so that first set is probably one of the hardest things to do. So once the first set is done, you kind of get a little bit of motion behind you. You're actually out there performing. You're getting listing appointments. You're getting buyer appointments. Stage 3 is what we're going to call selling out the small venues. This is where you're a little consistent. You're comfortable. You're potentially dangerously content with a half full room because at least you're doing something. But what we want to do is figure out how to fill up these big arenas. We want to put a lot of opportunities in your real estate bucket. And so stage 4, we're going to call that the difficult second album. This is where this particular piece becomes where there's huge writer's blocks. You want to rely just on that first set of knowledge. You're afraid to tackle new things. You're afraid to grow. You're afraid to add band members. You're afraid to do things a little bit different. You fall into that comfort zone trap, and this is where a lot of agents get stuck because they're afraid of leverage. Then we're going to go into stage 5, and that's headlining. This is where you have earned the right to build a team. You've earned the right to go out and do the things that are necessary, where you are that individual who has the skill sets to go into all the restaurants and all the different places in your community where people know who you are. That's becoming the headliner. And the last is called the legacy tour. And this is kind of where I'm at. I don't want to call it the final stage of my career, but it's one of the most important phases of my career, because I can still sell real estate at a high level, but I can also share some of that knowledge with others, and I'm hoping that some of this knowledge is shared back with you. So anyway, so this is kind of here we are. Love to stay connected. Thanks so much for being a participant. Remember, as always, love, like, share, and stay in touch. Have a great day, and remember, as always, let's prosper together. Be good.